Break down what the teams in the AFC North need to do to find success in 2023. It is time for today's checklist. We are starting with Tom and the Cleveland Browns. What would make your checklist for the Browns to be successful this year?
Cleveland Browns, a fascinating team for me. And it all starts out with, show me Mega Watson. That's right, Deshaun Watson. The biggest trade, literally, in NFL history. Can we get a reminder of what the Browns gave up for Deshaun Watson in that trade? In short, it was all the picks. It was the biggest contract in NFL history. They knew 2022 was going to be rough. They took a lot of criticism acquiring him in the face of serious allegations of sexual misconduct. He served an 11-game suspension. But when you give up all this for one guy, you're expecting he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. A top 5 quarterback makes you a perennial Super Bowl contender. Kevin Stefanski told me they saw flashes of that on tape when they look back to the tail end of the 2022 season. At other times, he looked like a guy who hadn't played in 2 years because he hadn't. A full off season, the offense is going to evolve, and certainly you would expect Deshaun Watson to look a lot more like Deshaun Watson. Number 2, let's salute your Schwartz. That's right, Jim Schwartz back in Cleveland, where he got his start under Belichick. That's right, in the mid-'90s as a scout in Cleveland. His last DC job was in Philly, where he helped the Eagles win a Super Bowl. He's going to be aggressive. You're going to see those wide 9 fronts that Schwartz favors. There's going to be a lot of favorable matchups for Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith in this defense. Those two guys should absolutely eat. And finally, number 3, it's time, guys. We got to let the dogs out, okay? These are the Cleveland Browns fans, one of the most tortured fan bases in all of football. They got a taste of it, okay, in 2020. They went to the playoffs. They beat the Steelers. They almost beat the Chiefs in the playoffs that year with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. First time that they had won a playoff game since Schwartz was there in the mid-'90s. Then 2021, Mayfield gets hurt. They fall off a little bit. Last year, again, they knew it was going to be rough, given that their starting quarterback was serving a suspension. There were under 10,000 fans per game in 2020. Okay, the only time that these Browns have been to the playoffs the last 25 years, and it was COVID, nobody was there. Time to fill the stadium. Browns fans get excited. Browns give the fans something to be excited about. Next, you got the Steelers. And go.
Successful season for me. It starts with number 1, can he pick it? Can he pick it? Get it? Yes, he can.
Yes.
We already know that because the likes of Tom Pelissero leading up to the draft, we're talking about hand size. It's about heart size for Kenny Pickett.
He stretched those things out.
With the fourth quarter comebacks from him last year, 4 of them, his quarterback's coach, Mike Sullivan, that you know very well.
Man, I feel good. Could be the food I'm eating or these toys to get my mind right.
Former Giants assistant coach, quarterback's coach with them, wide receivers as well. Eli Manning was pretty good at the fourth quarter comeback.
Sully needs to be a coordinator.
So there you go, stumped for it. But he knows what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL, to play well when you need to play well at the right time of the game. He sees it in Kenny Pickett, so we've seen that so far. He needs to continue that. Number 2, Canada. Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, catching a lot of flack in Pittsburgh. A lot of folks still not sold on him, but he showed down the stretch that he's able to execute what Mike Tomlin and what upper management wants, which is an offense that can run the football. 8 of the last 9 games, they were over 100 yards after previously, before that, last season, only having 3 games over 100 yards. So, yeah, he's been given a task. We want to be a run-first team. We've been that way in the past. We want to continue to be that way. He has done that, so Matt Canada has to continue that and execute that on that side of the ball and make them an effective offense. Number 3, dominant defense. Cam Hayward mentioned recently that we have the capability to be dominant. This was a team that did a great job down the back stretch last year. Everything really came together down the back stretch if you're picking up on a theme. So can the Steelers take that momentum and continue going forward? He says we have the pieces to be, quote, dominant. We just have to have that mindset week in and week out. So let's see if the rest of the defense can follow Hayward's advice and be dominant on D in 23.
To the Bengals right now, and number 1 on my checklist for the Bengals, give me the 3 amigos, all right? I'm not talking about Dusty Bottoms, Lucky Day, and Ned Netterlander. I'm not talking about those 3 amigos. I'm talking about Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Give me those 3 amigos, all right? These guys drive this team. All 3 of them need to do a better job need to do a great job of running this offense, and they feed off of each other. And I think when you look at
fixing his microphone, just
thank
for
you.
anyone
Yeah,
watching
sorry,
doesn't get the wrong idea. There.
Yeah, nothing to see here. The one thing I'll point out is both Higgins and Boyd are in contract years. So I think they're highly motivated to have some production. When you look at these three receivers, 45 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons combined. So some great production there. That has to continue. All right. Number 2 on the checklist. Can we please protect Joe Exotic? All right. Listen, Joe Burrow has been the most sacked quarterback over the last 2 years, and it's not even close. Look, this is the last 2 seasons. 121 sacks. The next closest quarterback is Justin Fields with 30 less sacks. Joe Burrow, they talked about it after the Super Bowl. We've got to find a way to protect him. It didn't work out. They brought in Lyle Collins. They added Ox Kappa. Now they feel like they fixed it. They signed Orlando Brown Jr. from the Chiefs to a huge contract. He's going to move over to left tackle. Jonah Williams, whether he likes it or not, guess what? You're going to the right side. So between him and Lyle Collins, they've got to figure it out. But you've got to protect this man, all right? Look, white Bengal tigers like that are very rare, all right? They're not albinos. They are just a special mutation of the genetic gene that creates the Bengal tiger. So protect this man at all costs. And Joe Mixon as well. I'll throw that Joe in there. He's another exotic Joe. We've got to find a way to let him eat. All right, number 3 on the list right now. The one thing that I thought the Bengals did a great job of last year is defending the jungle. All right, they play the Welcome to the Jungle Guns N' Roses song, but you've got to defend the jungle. When people come into your house, you got to protect it. And I thought they did a great job last year. They could continue that. They were 6-1 last year at home. Their only blemish was a Week 1 loss against the Cleveland Browns. And then after that, it was Lockdown City in the jungle. How do they do that? Well, defensively, Lou Anarumo has done a great job. We've talked about him glowingly over the last couple of years about how good of a job he's done in defense. He lost a couple big players. Vaughn Bell, Jesse Bates, no longer there. He's got some young bucks that are going to have to step up. So that defense has got to show up. They've got to do a great job like they did last year. They were one of the best scoring defenses in the league. That has to continue in order for the Bengals to continue to have the opportunity to dominate this division.
Can you explain that tiger thing again? What is a white tiger?
Yeah, there's a white Bengal tiger, and a lot of people think that it's an albino, and it's not. It's a genetic mutation of, there's a certain genes that come together to make it classify as a Bengal tiger. Yeah, you can learn a lot.
The Ravens, do we not talk about them enough? And I don't think we do, because as much as we think this is just the Bengals going to run away with it, not when you got Action Jackson back. The contract is out of the way. Obviously, that was a heavy discussion point this offseason. And then it feels like as soon as Lamar signed the huge deal, which was much deserved, then it was like, okay, well, that's put to bed, and now we'll go back to talking about the Bengals. No, when Lamar signed that contract, he said he wants to throw for 6,000 yards. And when you look at the weapons that are around Lamar Jackson, they have given him the supporting cast so that his Ravens can return to supremacy in their division. Give me number 2 here. We started with number 1. I don't even know if I said. Number 1 was Action Jackson. And then give me number 2, Monken Masterpieces. Yes, this could be a Todd Monken masterpiece as he takes over as offensive coordinator there in Baltimore after leading the Georgia Bulldogs to national championships.
This is a great
This
highlight.
is the kind of enthusiasm. Forget anything else I'm going to say. Let's just
We're all wearing masks, but let's high five.
Watch the video. Todd Monken takes over, and look, he's got the pieces to make it happen, because now they've got OBJ in there who's hungry on his comeback tour. They've got Zay Flowers, and we talked about yesterday, Zay and Lamar working together, and then you can't forget about Bateman. You've got Andrews. So Todd Monken has the pieces, and what kind of OBJ are we going to see? If it looks like the OBJ in his workout videos, he's going to be fantastic. Could Lamar throw for 6,000 yards? Why not? Let's go. Zay Flowers could be the offensive rookie year. We don't know. When it comes to things that they would like to get just maybe like a little bit better, this is a really good Ravens defense. This is a great Ravens defense. They allowed the 3rd fewest points a season ago. If there's one thing that they want on that checklist, the secondary step up, maybe a little bit sooner than last year because it was a slow start and then they really came on. But this is a defense that was so good, and yet when it comes to pass defense, they ranked 26th in the league. So yes, they want the Marlon Humphreys to step up. They want the Kyle Hamiltons to step up. They've got big names in this linebacking core, and this is a great Ravens defense that can just improve in certain categories that they want to get a little better in. And you could be looking at the top team in this division.